The Absolute 3D One is the first handheld gaming PC with support for stereoscopic 3D gaming with no glasses required. That is a pretty wild proposition. How did they manage to bring this technology to market first? Well, it's possible that they outcompeted all the other teams who were trying to build such a product. It's also possible, wow, it's really big. It's also possible that nobody else was trying to build glasses-free stereoscopic gaming into a handheld PC form factor. Oh my gosh. In fairness to Absolute, their marketing materials for the 3D One do kinda lean pretty heavily on using it as more like a gaming tablet with a kickstand and then, detaching the removable controllers, which almost certainly makes a lot more sense, especially when you consider how the 3D screen works. But we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's finish taking a look at the included accessories. You get this USB-C to C cable. We also get a actually really nice carrying case with kind of a velvety interior. Shout out my Australian viewers. Ooh, a charging grip for the controller. So they do have their own internal battery. They'll run for a little while off of that, or you can put them on this ergonomic central piece. It's kind of like a Joy-Con grip, except if it was a spaceship. Wow, is it ever bottom heavy, man? You'll need one of these. This is kind of like the setups that they have for like RC. No, I'm kidding. This is a strap for the carrying case, which makes a lot of sense. Goes on the loops right here. And finally, you get a whomping charging brick. This boy's rated at 100 watts maximum. We only ever saw it charge at an average of about 35 watts with both this charger and a known good third-party one. So it took a little over 2 hours to charge, not the fastest charging device we've ever seen. The last accessory I wanna look at right now is a keyboard cover. Goes on a little something like that. Oh, nice strong magnets though, gotta give them credit for that. Let's do a tour of all the I/O. At the back, we've got the kickstand that we already took a look at. Metal, by the way, pretty satisfying. And we've also got an intake vent as well as a hint as to what hardware we might find inside. Ooh, Intel. But we'll get into that in a little more detail later. We've got programmable buttons on the back. They can be programmed with single functions, but we didn't have any luck programming them with macros. Then we've got these releases for the detachable controllers. Up at the top, things get a little bit more exciting. We've got linear triggers as well as our shoulder buttons, alongside a vent, which the cooling system of this thing performed admirably in our testing, holding up well against the MSI Claw AI8 Plus, which features a very similar hardware platform. We've also got a micro SD slot, 3.5mm audio jack, Thunderbolt 4, as well as what they call a full function USB-C port. I think that is to say that it supports display out, a USB Type-A port, volume rocker, power button, and a toggle switch between 2D and 3D mode that is not in fact a toggle, but is rather a momentary switch. Okay, we'll have to talk about that later. On the bottom, we have the interface for our keyboard folio as well as down-firing speakers. On the front, we've got an 8-direction D-pad as well as Hall effect joysticks. Full-size ones, I might add. Some buttons I'm gonna have to figure out along with our start select and our actually pretty nice feeling ABXYs. We also get a pair of touchpads, just like the Steam Deck. Ooh. It's kind of hard to see, but finally, we've got a front-facing webcam as well as, that's right, an eye tracking sensor. So, Absolute didn't disclose the exact technology that they're using for their glasses-free 3D on this display, but we know that similar products use a combination of eye tracking and adjustable lenticular lenses over top of the display to help diffract the light and ensure that each eye sees only the correct side image. Let's go ahead and fire it up, and let's fire up this segue to our sponsor.
War Thunder. It's one of the most comprehensive vehicle combat games ever made available on PC, consoles, and now mobile devices. It's highly immersive due to the use of real war vehicles from the past 100 years. Take your pick from over 2,500 planes, copters, ships, and tanks, all from 10 major nations. So join over 70 million players on the battlefield by checking our link in the video description.
Oh, okay. Is this Absolute's launcher? You know, that really is what the world needed, is more interfaces to look at all of my games. There's non-game stuff in here as well. There's some key settings. You can go ahead and adjust your performance profile, change your joystick dead zone, as well as your trigger dead zones. Oh, and you can remap buttons, specifically these two buttons, and specifically to these functions. Let's play a game. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is apparently a great choice for experiencing this device both in 2D as well as 3D. The device features a whopping 10.95 inch 2560 by 1600 120 hertz IPS type display that maxes out at, they claim, about 480 nits, but we actually measured just a hair shy of 500 nits. So no, it's not HDR, but what it is high density, flippin' gorgeous, and fluid, thanks to its 120 hertz refresh rate. I don't think there's any point in us trying to run this at native resolution, so let's go with 1600 by 1200. That may be doable. Oh, here we go. Here we go, big moment. Okay, not quite what I was expecting. Full screen, please. Now, 3D. Whoa! See, you guys can't see this, but I can, and it is something. Ooh, definitely a bit of like kind of jutteriness when I move around. But if I get locked in, I feel pretty good about this. There's a number of different ways that it can apply a 3D effect to your game. The first is integration at the engine level, where the engine is actually telling it what the depth values are for all of the various items on screen. There's about 50 titles for that right now. We'll pop that up on screen. There's also games that support side-by-side 3D, which is often used when gaming in a VR headset. Finally, they claim to be able to use AI to add depth to both games and videos, and we'll try that a little bit later. In the meantime, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is one of the games that supposedly is supported at an engine level. I can tell you now, it's running at about 15 FPS, so the first thing we're gonna need to do is turn down the resolution a little bit, which, on a display this size, it's not something I really wanted to do. I want more brightness. Definitely best enjoyed in a darker environment. That is running like absolute dog poo right now. It's very 3D though. Like it's, you know, that thing, it's back there, you know? Can you see how choppy it's running though? Okay, is this just because, oh wow, yeah. We're in 2D mode now and it's running awesome. I thought the performance difference isn't supposed to be so bad. Wait, this is the AI one. Why is it using the AI accelerated one? Apparently they chose Intel's platform because of the strength of the NPU, the neural processor for this kind of AI enhancement, but you know, wow, the AI effect one works surprisingly well. Okay, I'm gonna relaunch the game because I did notice when I first launched it, it seems to be running side by side. So let's give it another shot from outside of the game. They have a background utility that launches when you turn on the system to manage the 3D switching. Okay, that's the ARC graphics software. Speaking of ARC graphics, a major red flag for me on this device is that Absolute does not recommend that you update your graphics drivers. That could impact the 3D experience. And ARC drivers are drivers that, generally speaking, you would want to upgrade. All right, let's try launching the game again. Okay, there's no like, I want to do this in 3D or anything like that. Ooh, nice little overlay though. Okay, was it using AI for this? Native 3D mode. Okay, so this is native 3D. Ooh, wow, the menu looks really cool. The selected items pop up and stuff, that's cool. Okay, is there just a 3D mode in here? Oh, for crying out loud, here it is. Stereoscopic, on. Now! Native 3D mode! All right, okay, it was user error. It's running better, which is good. There's surprisingly little crosstalk between the eyes. And now that we're using native 3D data, I'm actually getting not just depth past the display, but I'm also getting things popping out towards me, which is pretty cool. Should I switch to an all black hoodie? What does that look like on camera? Oh yeah, I guess, wow, that's weird. Yeah, you can see both sides of the image. Yeah. So you guys see the blur, but to me, it's clean. Really good depth effect. This thing is really heavy. Even resting my arms, it's like GPD Win 5 level of heavy, which is surprising given that it doesn't have that big of a battery. It only has a 50 watt-hour battery, which means that when you're running it in the highest power profile, playing intense games, you're looking at less than an hour of continuous gaming time. In our endurance test, it did do quite a bit better at about 5 hours, which I'm honestly kind of surprised by given the size of this screen. But most of the time you're gonna be gaming, not watching lightweight video. Whoa, that is a really, really good 3D effect. I guess now's as good a time as any to kind of talk through the specs. I already mentioned the processor that we're using. So it's an 8-core Core Ultra 7 200 series. We've got 32 gigs of LPDDR5X memory, Wi-Fi 6E only, which is a little curious, Bluetooth 5.3, and I guess I kind of covered most of the other stuff. Oh, this looks so good. But this is definitely going to be a niche device at the kind of pricing they have for it. The early bird price is $1,500, which I kind of get given the price of RAM and the unique value proposition of the giant screen, the kickstand, the detachable controllers, not to mention the 3D functionality. But I still think when you look at that compared to something like an ROG Xbox Ally X or a MSI Claw AI8 Plus, which has functionally the same hardware, just with a smaller screen, it's gonna be a tough one. And not every game is gonna look this good. Let's go ahead and find a game that doesn't look this good, which will be basically any other game. Labs didn't love the ergonomics of the controllers. I can't say I love them either, but if you have big hands, I guess you'll be okay. Like, it kind of assumes maybe you're pressing these with your ring fingers if you want to be able to reach the shoulders and the triggers. The quality of the controllers is not something that I would fault, but the layout and the way the weight sits on you, I'd say is a little weird. They're bottom heavy when you're using them without the actual center screen, but they're probably weighted about right when you're holding it like this. Getting that balance where they work great both attached and not attached was probably a pretty tough challenge. I guess while I'm waiting for this game to launch, I can try out the trackpad and the keyboard. Trackpad feels good. That's not something I like to see. Just while I'm typing on something, it just kind of moving around like that. Let's see if it actually impacts anything. Oh, it's a small trackpad, but, oh no, I like to be able to press here and also drag, and it's really flaky. Yeah. Oh, I got it to work. Oh, wow. Yep, the bounce is as bad as I hoped it wouldn't be. Also, these arrow keys are ass, and short backspace keys are ass. But hey, at least you have full size shift, so good job. It's usable, and keeps your screen safe. Look at that. I knew the battery life wasn't great, but I have lost 40% while I've been working on this. That is not amazing. Hey! All right. Well, this is dog ass. That right there, that is exactly what it looks like to me. So the frame rate cuts to like a third and the image gets dark and it is blurry. I don't know, the green dot seems to indicate that it is tracking my eyes because you can see it goes yellow and it's not looking at me. Okay, let's try it again. Let's give it another shot. Utterly illegible. Okay, so your mileage is definitely gonna vary. Okay, Street Fighter 6 demo. I feel better about this one. Capcom wouldn't let me down. 3D mode, AI 3D mode, okay. It works in this game. And the performance seems fine, for the most part. Wow, oh wow. Those trees, like instead of the little individual bits of foliage, you know, kind of poking out or poking in or whatever else, it just came out like a big bulge. Some stuff is handled pretty well though. Like my buddy in the foreground here, like I could almost cup those cheeks, you know? Oh yeah, and like the hair, it just like, bleh. It's like someone put their fist behind his head and just like stuck it out through the screen. Like it just, I mean, it's something. Like it's cool. Oh, it's kind of distracting. Or there isn't like a clear contrast. Like here, like his chest is coming out like, bleh. But then his head, it doesn't have enough contrast against this building, so it's like back like this. So he's like, Oh, the way the text like wraps around anything that's popping out or popping in around it is pretty nauseating, honestly. It's not great. Not nauseating, but headache inducing. The 3D headache, you know, the one that's like right in here, you know, like where your brain freezes when you have too much ice cream. All right, fighting in 3D. Whoa! It's something. It's 3D, it pops out. Some games, it doesn't completely trash the performance, and it does give it more depth. I personally wouldn't choose to use it. I think I'd rather just have my display be brighter and have my performance be better for the most part. Let's try video. We have to be full screen for the 3D effect to work. Okay, this is pretty cool. I would expect it to work better in animation than other things. A little bit of crosstalk. Okay, the text is doing the funky thing where it wraps around stuff again. Okay, that was super funky. Like that apple has weird like grass that's closer to it. If I wasn't looking for any of this though, and I was just, you know, watching this, yeah, I'd say it would add some immersion. Would I rather just watch like this though? Yeah, probably. I am a 3D enthusiast, but I like good 3D. So that's where I'm at on that. You know what, first crab rave. Wait, plus is on the left? Oh, until I brought up the interface, oh. Ah, stop, oh God. Wow. Until I brought up the interface, the 3D in Crab Rave was actually pretty good. Speakers are fine, basically no kind of depth or bass. They're clear, and they get pretty loud. Oh man, this part's really good. I'm clearly in the foreground and like the house is clearly way back there. Man, when it's good, it's really cool. And then all the rest of the times, it's pretty rough. Oh man, photos. Apparently, by the way, they have support for Apple's spatial photos, which is pretty cool. Oh dude, that photo looked so good. This video is really hard, but this is crazy. This is like AI enhanced. Man, would I watch the video like this? Maybe sometimes, selectively, I might turn it on. It's pretty cool. I'd have a really hard time justifying the price of it though.
I think it adds to it.
It does, right?
Like I'm not paying for a 3D movie at a theater, but like just sitting and watching, it does feel like you are more there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's impressive.
And you're right, you're not paying for a 3D movie at a theater. You're paying a lot more than what you would pay for a 3D movie at a theater. I think that's about everything to talk about other than the performance. We did mention the hardware, but we didn't mention that Abxylute has not managed to squeeze as much performance out of this hardware as the MSI Claw AI 8 Plus. We found that even in the same power profile, we weren't really able to get quite the same level of turbo and therefore not quite the same frame rates at our various resolutions across our various games. This is the kind of product that I wish you could buy with a return policy, you know? That you could try before you buy, but you're just gonna have to say, nope, I'm a big 3D enthusiast and I'm gonna go for it. Good luck with that. That's about all I have to say about that now though, so subscribe to ShortCircuit.